It's 2009 and a photographic journalist, Danfung Dennis, is airlifted into the Taliban-controlled Helmand River Valley in Afghanistan. He's there to cover the unfolding events of Echo Company, just one small part of an operation involving nearly 4,000 US Marines. What he captures, and perhaps more importantly how he captures it, is a turning point in the production of documentary films. Not just content with taking photos, Dennis is armed with a Canon 5D camera. It's basically a slightly larger version of this camera, and it's capable of recording video in high definition with excellent results. His one-man movie-making rig takes him right to the front lines and into the battlefield with a new level of intimacy. The images and sounds he captures are visceral. It's totally you are there stuff. There's no narration, no interviews to tell you what to think. You need to do the work. It's cinema verite all the way, making its points as strongly as any scripted drama, and it's definitely an e-ticket ride. So capturing war images is all good and well, but how is that a movie? How does that engage an audience beyond just watching guys fire guns for a while? We are creatures that love a story, and we love characters, and we want to know what happens to those characters. Enter Marine Sergeant Nathan Harris. He's in a position of some authority. After all, he's the kind of recruit the Army really wants and needs, a guy who wants to kill people. Now please, don't assume I'm being harsh or judgmental. Nathan tells us this himself, plain and simple. So what does the Army do with this guy in Afghanistan? They put him into a situation where he has to negotiate with a group of Afghani farmers and their families who have been driven out of their village, which is now occupied by the Americans, who are there to protect the locals from the Taliban, who largely seem not to be bothering locals. Well, certainly not as much as the presence of the Americans. Plot point. Nathan is severely injured, sent home to the US, and so begins an arduous and painful recovery process. Through a constant stream of doctor's appointments, physiotherapy sessions, and bags full of pills, Nathan attempts to readjust to life in the burbs with his very devoted wife, Ashley. But for Nathan, the war isn't over. The bits don't fit. He seems totally adrift, and no one is handing him an instruction book for this part of his life. It's an intimate and at times frightening insight into the mind of a young man whose illusions of war are as shattered as his body. Parallel with comment on consumerism and just what the hell are we fighting for, but without ever really telling the audience what to think. We watch things happen. We see Nathan caressing a loaded gun, and his wife looks on, stunned into silence by what he might do next. She's living life on a hair trigger with an overly medicated man who thinks loaded firearms are truth, justice, and the very best of the American way. There's a wonderful scene where Ashley and Nathan approach a fast food drive-in and go through this agonizing first world problem of what to order. Slam, bang, we're suddenly back on the battlefield where life and death is a bullet screaming past your head. Yeah, I'll have fries with that and supersize my Coke. What Dennis and his editor Fiona Otway have done is create a subtly layered nightmare. It uses juxtapositions of the two worlds. This is film editing in its purest form. To present contrast, to present comment, to present debate in our minds as we watch the film. It's not an easy ride. It's inviting you to think. It demands you to think. And repeated viewings, and I'm up to my 4th as of last night, reveals more and more in this film. The fact that it was shot using the most minimal equipment is a testimony to Danfung Dennis's great ingenuity, commitment to the project, and skills. He opens up two worlds to us and proves conclusively that, yes, war is hell, and suburban USA appears to be running a very close second. Give yourself the big screen, big sound experience if you can. The images off high-definition Blu-ray are at times breathtakingly beautiful. It's stunning photojournalism with the plus of motion and audio. Hollywood, they'd be hard-pressed to recreate some of this. From the faces of the Afghani families to the greyness of the endless dust in the battlefields, the images are at times beautiful, seductive, seemingly crafted and art-directed. But hang on, it's all real. End.